Hello, everybody. Okie dokie. Now, what you saw up there at first. Anyway, hello. Okay. I have the camera set up. I think it's a lot better this way. You can see exactly what I'm doing with my fingers and all that, and so it helps you out a little bit more. Anyway, so I put up the score that you and I have both been working on for a while. Except I can't see yours, you can't see mine, but that's okay. So I'm going to play what this sounds like with the first part of it, which I think I played before, and then the second part that's in the minor chords. So here we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to the part that I added for this week and explain a few things here. I'm going to go back to where we start with the minor chord, where it says repeat. Okay. So we've got a minor chord, and of course this minor chord has got the third of that chord lowered, which is an E flat. So when anything that we write in that that bar, or in fact anywhere until we get to the next chord, is going to have the flats of E. So we have to put in there a flat E if we want it to sound right. If not, then it's going to sound like this, which is still okay. But if you want to harmonize a little bit and get that kick out of that part of that song, you want to go with a flat. There's a difference. Now I'm just adding that in. That's actually a seventh, which would be a B flat. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Okay, and then we'll go on to the last bar. The next to the last bar of the C minors, and then we have here. If you can see up that high, I don't know if the camera sits up there. And then we have a whole note, a G. Up above the staff is a G, and I put a line on it that goes across. That just means you've got to hold it the whole time. Holding that G up on top while we play the next 4 eighth notes and then a quarter note. And then we have the F minor. Well, in the F minor, I'm putting in an E flat, and I'm also putting in the third of that chord, which is a flat, which is A flat. So we have 2 flats. And then I'm playing those 2 notes together, half notes together. Then we got 2 more half notes, which are F and C. And then we've got the closer thirds. Okay, and then we've got the C minor again, and then I've got doubles. So you hold that G again, and then we'll go down here. If you want to, you can slide down to get it to it. Or if not, or if you want to slide, just watch what I do. It's really simple. In G minor, we have a whole note here, D. So again, we hold this for the whole 4 beats. and then we have F minor again. Now, the way I have that, those are just eighth notes. So that's all they are. And that's that. Now, what I'd want you to do, of course, is to add this second part that I put on here from repeat on down, to add it on to the next part of your score. So you have that included with, you would have what I have first in your score, and then you would have this again and your score again, or the other way around, doesn't matter. As long as we're just sticking with the same progression of bars and C minor, C minor, F minor, C minor, G minor, F minor, and C minor. Okay, now, if you're getting behind on writing the score, which I can understand why, if I was learning for the first time, I might start be going crazy by now. But the thing is, there are things that we have to learn, and by combining both the learning of the keyboard and the learning of the score at the same time, it's not really confusing. It helps teach you quicker, but it slows you down, and you're probably at a point where you'd like to speed up a little bit. So we're going to do a little speeding up here. And so you can put that on the back burner, but I want you to practice all the progressions of running up and down the keyboard that I've showed you up until now. Get those, re-practice again. Those are some things you sit down and just play for a few minutes. And the faster you play them, the more excited you are, and it just works out. It's just good. But this week I'm going to show you the how to add the 6th, the 7th, and the full octave, of course, and the 9th. To your chord. So here we go. Here's a C chord. Now this last week this week we're on the minor, where everything's minored out. Third on all of our chords is dropped a half a tone. Okay, so here's the first, the third, the fifth of each chord. First, third, fifth, first, third, fifth. Okay, now if we want to play the 6th, in other words, the chord will be written on the top of our music where it says C with a little 6 next to it. Okay, that means they want you to play the 6th, which this is the 5th, so this would be the 6th. Now if it has 7, then this would be major 7. Okay, a regular 7 is a half a tone down, just like the minor was. That's just a regular 7. So if you see a 7, you would hit the B flat along with your C chord. And if you noticed in here on one of the minors, I hit the B flat because it sounds good, because you can add all those notes in, and you flat them while you're playing your chord, and you're playing the 7th with your other hand, but it's the lead of the song, and so it brings in a nice harmony. So here we go again. We have the first, the third, the fifth, the 6th, the major 7th, and here's a full octave, okay? And then we have the 9th, which is here. And you can always do it this way. It always sounds better, though, this way, because you don't have that ring right next to it. You can't play it this way, it doesn't sound good. Too many notes too close together, all at one time. Okay, so. Heard that before. I don't remember the name of the song, but if you listen to it, you'll realize that people used to do this with the chords without even playing just for a part of their harmony. But they were actually singing it as a lead. Okay, enough of that, but I think if you think about it through the week, if you haven't figured out what the name of that song is, you probably will. I don't really recall it, I just know that it was there. It's back in the, maybe the 70s, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it's a Petula Clark song maybe? Anyway, so back again. Here's the 6th, the 7th, the full octave in the ninth. Okay, an F chord. 6th, 7th, full octave in the ninth. G. Here's the 6th, 7th, full octave, and the ninth. Okay, and that's how that is. So what I want you to do for this next week is practice this stuff. In other words, practice what you just saw me doing. Okay. Now, last week we were doing this. Okay, we're doing it with both hands. And then we're doing the minors of it. Okay. Now, you can even start doing that progression if you want to. If you get bored doing these exercises and you want to play around for a few minutes, then go ahead. Just bring yourself up to the next chord. Just slide up a half a tone on each first, third, and fifth. Just slide up. Now remember, the third is a minor, so we come down a half a tone. Okay, and the 6th would be here. The 7th would be here. Then we have an octave. And then this would be the 9th. Okay. It's the same separation, the same numbers, the same process. All the way on all of your chords. So you could practice all this stuff. And so here's your chord with a 6th. So you throw up your C. Remember these exercises? You throw the C up. Okay, now add a 6th to it. Now, with the 6, you want to always play those two together for the effect. See? You don't want to go this, and then because you're throwing up one note at a time, so you want to go this way, and just do it that way. Now, when we get to the 7th, oops, I added the 9th. I don't know, I'm so used to, I like the 7th and the 9th together. I think it's a sexy sound. Anyway, so we have our 6. Okay, here's your 7th, major 7th. Here's your full octave, and here's your 9th. So, and throwing, going up, we got 4 notes here we got to mess with all the time. So, okay, so we throw this C up. Okay. Okay, we throw the E up. Throw the G up. And just keep practicing that way. Now, how I think about all that is, this is how I learned. This is how I put everything together. All the numbers, where we have our chord. Okay, I automatically know where the 9th is. Because visually in my head, I have this keyboard. So if I have to play a 9th, I know it's right there, because I already know that it's 6, 7, 8, 9. See, just like the minor. Here's if we always in our head go to the major part of the chord, boop, then everything else in numbers plays its place, all the way up to here, to our 9th, and this would be the 11th, and then we come up to the 13th even, but that's way down the road. So right now here we have the base of our chord. I throw those little things in, realizing that if we know what's coming up down the road, we get more of an understanding of why we're doing it right now. We're getting the basics pretty much down pat. And even what I'm doing today is a lot further than the basics that most people learn for quite a while. Because usually they have you doing, playing Mary Had a Little Man. or something very, very simple. And like I just showed you today on what I wrote, that's a little more than simple. So if you practice it and you work it out slowly, and you get to where you're proficient at it, that's going to be a fantastic achievement for you. And so I know you can do that. Okay, back to this now. So, in other words, we want to practice all this stuff. So, the easiest thing to do is this way. Because when we hit a C up here, and we want to add a ninth, we know where it's at. So, we can do it that way, we can do it this way, we can do it this way. You know, in other words, we know all those notes. See? And if you notice, we just did a C ninth with this thrown up here, and say the next chord is a G. Boom. There we have an octave with a G, see? So in other words, when you get used to all these chords, you'll find that most of the time you don't have to move your hand very far because you're all within this one range, except when you get up here. When you get up to your... Okay. Now, I want you to practice all of the exercises, even back to where I showed you how to run up the scale this way. And then you got here, we had to do something different, didn't we? We throw it under. Keep practicing that. Because you need to get used to running your fingers around. So, you see what I'm doing here? I'm doing it real slow this time. Now, I'll probably make a mistake. I have a hard time doing stuff that I'm used to doing a long time. I remember years ago it was easy to teach because I was teaching myself at the same time. And just practice that on up and down and start at different places.